traveling around the country, teaching restorative justice, and making sure families like mine or families not so like mine have the same opportunities that, other folks have.
And that's the hottest 60 seconds this week on The Source on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
In your journey back to work, we understand the barriers you may face. We have a solution to bridge that gap. No matter your background, PA CareerLink staff are here to provide personalized assistance and help you thrive. Take the first step towards a new chapter in your career journey with PA CareerLink. Visit pacareerlink.pa.gov or your local PA CareerLink office today. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
The Mother's Day Music Festival 2024, starring Kim, May 11th, 7 p.m. in Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. It's Kim with special guest SWV. Also on the show, it's Silk. And there's more with Drew Hill. The Mother's Day Music Festival 2024. Get tickets at Ticketmaster, Philadelphia Hair Company, and OP Productions in Delaware.
The Arthur Ross Gallery at the University of Pennsylvania supports Word Radio and presents the exhibition Barbara Earl Thomas, The Illuminated Body, with 9 portraits that celebrate great Black cultural icons such as August Wilson, Seth Parker Woods, and Charles Johnson. In partnership with the exhibition, the Arthur Ross Gallery is proud to present Difficult Grace, a multimedia concert exploring identity, history, and personal growth with Grammy-nominated cellist Seth Parker Woods. Thursday, April 11th, 7 p.m. at Penn Live Arts. Visit ArthurRossGallery.org for more information.
It's the City Commissioners reminding you that voting is now more accessible and just as safe.
That's right. Voting by mail is easy, safe, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home or at one of our satellite election offices.
But hurry, the deadline to apply for a mail ballot is Tuesday, April 16th by 5 p.m. Don't miss out on this opportunity to shape our future. Visit vote.phila.gov for more information.
Tune in this Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. for the Islam Today show with a perspective on moral guidance and Islamic principles and values.
Well, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Get ready for our annual Jackie Robinson Day, celebrating the life and legacy of number 42, the first Black athlete to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Join Word Radio on Monday, April 15th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Browns Family ShopRite, 52nd and Parkside, for a special live broadcast hosted by Chris Murray and Tanya Pendleton. The celebration will feature conversations about Jackie Robinson's accomplishments and impact as an athlete and life as a civil rights activist. There will be food, prizes, and much, much more. Be there on Monday, April 15th to celebrate the life of the great Jackie Robinson. Brought to you by Comcast, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, Pico, Hers Snack Foods, and Dietz & Watson. We are the home of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. How you doing, family? Welcome to Friday Eve. I pray that you're having an awesome day and an equally awesome week. How about that? How about that? So, what do you have planned for the weekend? You know, I always want to know what's going on with you. What's going on? If you'll be at the Berks Jazz Festival, well, hopefully I will see you there because I will be there. So I hope to run into you a few times, actually. I do want to send our condolences to the family and loved ones of the late O.J. Simpson. I don't know if you heard, but he succumbed to his battle with cancer. So sending our condolences to his family and loved ones. And family, if you are joining us by way of socials, please let us know. Send us a hello or check in. You know, you can do so any way you'd like. But if you're joining us by way of social, share a comment or two and let us know that you're there. And if not, feel free to give us a call. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free. And you can do that by dialing 1-866-361-0900. That's right. That's right. And while you do that, while we give you some time to do that, I will share with you today's Black History 365 moment. Today's Black History 365 moment is about Lorraine Hansberry. Born on May 19th in 1930 in Chicago, Illinois, she was the youngest of 4 children in a family deeply entrenched in the struggle for civil rights. Her father, Carl Hansberry, was a successful real estate broker and activist who fought against racially restrictive housing covenants. She became an American playwright and writer whose most celebrated work, A Raisin in the Sun, made its Broadway debut in 1959 and quickly garnered widespread acclaim for its poignant portrayal of the African American experience. A Raisin in the Sun shattered barriers on Broadway, becoming the first play written by a Black woman to be produced on a prestigious stage. Its critical and commercial success catapulted Hansberry to prominence, earning her the distinction of being the youngest playwright and the first Black playwright to receive the New York Drama Critics Award for Best Play. Family, that is today's Black History 365 moment. I want to say happy birthday to all of our love lights who are celebrating. We are all sending you celebratory love and hugs. Yes, we are. We hope that you're being celebrated in a grand way. And to those of you whose lights are shining dimly, I just want you to know that on behalf of your entire tribe and village, I'm sending you all the love and hugs that I can muster in this moment, okay? Because we want you to know that you are so not alone. You are never alone. You're never alone, okay? All right. All right. I have a few reminders to share with you. The first of which, it's about the melanin market. That's right. The melanin market, Word Radio, Katika, and Youngest in Charge present the 7th annual Melanin Market, the premier indoor festival celebrating Black-owned businesses globally. This year's event is set for April 13th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center, located at 1100 Arch Street. Doors open at 10 a.m. for a day packed with cultural celebration and empowerment. Highlights include a youth pitch contest at noon, a fashion showcase at 2 p.m., and an exhilarating hair lock battle at 4 p.m. Family admission is free for children under 12, and tickets are simply, I was trying to say 2 things at one time. I was so excited. Tickets are simply $25 at the door. That's it. But you can save by purchasing online for just $15. Visit themelaninmarket.com to secure your tickets. Family, don't miss out. Be there and check out a special WURD live broadcast hosted by Dr. Aaron Smith, the Rapping Professor, from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. right here on WURD. I've got a lot of reminders for you, so get ready, get ready. The second of which is EcoFest. EcoFest is coming Saturday, April 20th from 1 until 5 p.m. at the historic Belmont Mansion in beautiful Fairmount Park. Creating Black Green Futures is the theme for this year's festival-style Earth Day celebration, featuring panel conversations with leading environmentalists and holistic health professionals, including Word Radio's Dr. Paul Hopkins. There will be drummers, additional music, and spoken word by Nikki Powerhouse. The Black Farmer will be there with a workshop and demonstration, and so much more. Stay tuned to Word for more exciting details. Family, remember, that's Saturday, April 20th at the historic Belmont Mansion. This year's EcoFest Earth Day celebration is brought to you by Keystone First, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, PICO, Philadelphia Water Department, Parks and Recreation, and the Philadelphia Recycling Office. That's right. That's right. All right, I've got more for you. I've got more. Okay, let me adjust. Family, get ready for our annual Jackie Robinson Day, celebrating the life and legacy of number 42, the first Black athlete to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Join Word Radio on Monday, April 15th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Browns ShopRite 52nd and Parkside location for a special live broadcast hosted by Chris Murray. The celebration will feature conversations about Jackie Robinson's accomplishments and impact as an athlete and his life as a civil rights activist. Family, there will be food, prizes, and so much more. So be there on Monday, April 15th to celebrate the life of the great Jackie Robinson. Brought to you by Comcast, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, PICO, Her Snack Foods, and Dietz and Watson. I've got one more for you. You ready? You ready? I can tell that you are. Okay, here it comes. You want to hear from the candidates for Pennsylvania's Attorney General live and in person? Well, meet Word Radio at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church on April 18th. We will broadcast live from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. to hear from the candidates and their visions for this critical role. Moderated by Andrea Lawful Sanders, our beloved, this event will help you make your decision before the April 23rd primary. Doors will open at 6 p.m. Attend in person at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, located at 2800 West Cheltenham Avenue, or listen live on Word Radio next Thursday, April 18th at 7 p.m. This is your word on democracy. Your vote matters. Our democracy matters. I see, family, that you are checking in. I see it and I love it. Malcolm, our brother Malcolm White, that is, shares that he's watching and listening from West Mount Airy, and we so appreciate it. We so appreciate it. Eric is saying, how's everybody doing on this wet Thursday? Wait, has it begun to rain already? Has it? I know it's gray enough. It's dark out there. And Malcolm follows up by saying, rest in peace, OJ. Brother Nazir, there you are. Nazir Butler is sending peace and blessings to everybody, and we so appreciate it and send it back to you. Craig Ames, hey there, sending a good evening to everybody. And Craig Williams, hey there, Craig. Thank you for joining us as well. All right, family, let's get started. I have a wonderful human being to introduce you to in this first hour, as you know, I always do. You know, I say we are extraordinary. I say it because I believe it. Yes, I do. Our first guest in this evening is Jeffrey Moore. He is the CEO of Moore Financial Solutions, a boutique financial services firm located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Moore Financial Solutions is on a mission, okay, to help 5,000 individuals over the next 10 years leverage cash value life insurance contracts for asset acquisition, business ownership, and passive income generation. I know I just said a whole lot, right? Well, guess what? Jeff is here and he's going to talk with us about all of that and so much more. So, family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Jeff Moore. Well, hello there, good sir.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to be with the esteemed Carol Riddick, host of Love and Life. Thank you so much.
It's a
Thank you for
pleasure.
that great introduction.
Always a pleasure and privilege to have you here. Such a
Right.
pleasure. Now, look, I know the hour goes by so quickly, so I'm going to jump in, Jeff,
Let's
if that's
jump.
all
Let's
right with
jump.
you. Okay.
Let's jump.
Okay. So, first, can you tell us a little about you? We can introduce you to our family members.
I'm Jeff Moore. You know, my clients and they affectionately call me Jeff the Wealth Builder because I help them to get control of their money. I help them to reduce and minimize their taxes and build some wealth for the next generation. And I think that's so very important because oftentimes in our communities, we know how to make the money, but oftentimes we are, given the right education on how to keep the money, how to enjoy the money, how to protect the money, how to grow the money, and more importantly, to pass that money on to the next generation so the next generation can have a head start. So that's the area where my passion is, and that's the area where I am committed to getting the right financial education into our communities so that we can start to continue to live out our lives and fund the things, more importantly, fund the things that we are passionate about.
I so appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. So, how long have you worked in this industry?
So I know I look young, but I just finished. I'm starting my 26th year in the financial insurance space. Upon graduating from Penn State University, I got my bachelor's and my master's degree from there. So if any Penn Staters in the audience, a special we are to you. That's a university I hold near and dear to my heart because that was the place I grew up and discovered this thing that we call manhood. So that was one of the places that was instrumental in helping me to grow up and become a man. So I'm forever thankful. So I got into this business quite by accident. I was on my way to becoming a teacher. I was going to be an elementary school teacher. I had my whole life all planned out. I was a chess player. I went to Robert Vaux Junior High School in North Philly. I'm from North Philly. And I had this grandiose plan that I was going to teach school, have a chess program, travel the world, and make impact. But that never became to fruition because I discovered this opportunity in insurance and financial services. So now I'm kind of like not training the little kids, but I'm kind of training the big kids right now and helping them to, live out their lives and do the things that and understanding how this money game is actually working and how this money game actually should be played. So that's an important thing, and that's something that I'm near and dear to my heart. And we kind of use I share a quick story of how I really everything crystallized for me. So as a kid, I remember on the 15th of the month, a white man came by the house, and my mother would give him $50, and he would put that into a little notebook every month, and every month continuously for as long as I can remember, because I'm the youngest of 8 kids. He came on the 15th of the month, and I can recall times where my mother used to, how can I put this? She used to haze my daddy. She used to make sure that my daddy had that $50 a month there by hook or by crook. And as I later got older, as a kid, I asked my mom, why is this man coming here every 15th of the month? And she said, it's for the life insurance policy that, we have on the family in case something happens to me, something happens to your dad, or something happens to any of your brothers and sisters. There's some money there that we can take care of, final expenses. And I thought that struck out a little bit, that she had this in place, but she also said that, in times of trouble or if times of emergency, there would be some kind of monies there in the form of the cash value that would help out. But what we later discovered when I first got into the business is that that plan that she had, it was not quite as she understood it to be because there was no cash in that plan. And I remember how the sacrifices that she made and making sure that my daddy had that money together every 15th day of the month. I thought that I never wanted anyone to experience with my parents' experience, more importantly, my mother experience, when she found out that what she thought she purchased was not what it was.
You know, when that is resonating with me, with you saying what she thought she purchased, it wasn't actually, what she thought it was. And I feel like that is the more popular experience that we as Black people have when it comes to insurance. We're going to take just a short commercial break. Family, know that the phone lines are still open and feel free to continue to comment on our socials. We are coming right back with Jeff, the Wealth Builder. We'll be right back.
EcoFest is back. Save the date for the 2024 EcoFest Earth Day celebration, creating Black Green Futures. Saturday, April 20th from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. at the historic Belmont Mansion in beautiful Fairmount Park. This festival-style celebration will feature panel conversations with leading environmentalists, music, workshops, vendors, and much more. Stay tuned to WURD for more exciting details. Remember, Saturday, April 20th at the historic Belmont Mansion. This year's EcoFest Earth Day celebration is brought to you by Keystone First, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, University City Science Center, and PICO.
Every day, thousands of Comcast engineers and technologists like Oluseyi put people at the heart of everything they create.
Some of my favorite moments throughout my life are watching sports with my dad. Now I work at Comcast as part of the team that created our AI highlights technology, which uses AI to detect the major plays in a sports game.
And now, millions of sports fans will never miss a moment. Visit ComcastCorporation.com to learn more.
It's the city commissioners reminding you that voting is now more accessible and just as safe.
That's right. Voting by mail is easy, safe, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home or at one of our satellite election offices.
But hurry, the deadline to apply for a mail ballot is Tuesday, April 16th by 5 p.m. Don't miss out on this opportunity to shape our future. Visit vote.phila.gov for more information.
Listen up, women. Heart disease kills a woman every 80 seconds, and we die of heart attacks at twice the rate of men because our symptoms are too often missed or dismissed, even by doctors. This isn't just a crisis, it's a catastrophe. Be a force for change. If you experience nausea, heartburn, extreme fatigue, shortness of breath, or pain in the chest, jaw, or neck, speak up and get your heart checked. Visit womensheartalliance.org.
The Melanin Market, Word Radio. Katika and Youngest in Charge presents the 7th Annual Melanin Market, the premier indoor festival celebrating Black-owned businesses globally. This year's event is set for April 13th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center at 1101 Arch Street. Doors open at 10 a.m. for a day packed with cultural celebration and empowerment. Highlights include a youth pitch contest at 12 p.m., a fashion showcase at 2 p.m., and an exhilarating hair lock battle at 4 p.m. Admission is free for children under 12. Tickets are $25 at the door, but save by purchasing online for just $15. Visit themelaninmarket.com to secure your tickets. Don't miss out. Be there and check out a special WURD live broadcast hosted by Dr. Aaron Smith, the Rapper Professor, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Tune in to Eco Word Magazine, hosted by POC, the first Friday at 10 a.m. for the PA Lottery Eco Word Fact of the Month. Brought to you by PA Lottery, benefiting older Pennsylvanians every day.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Welcome back, family. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking in this hour with Jeff Moore, who is Jeff the Wealth Builder. So Jeff was sharing a story with us just before the commercial break about how his parents had purchased insurance, and what they thought they purchased wasn't exactly, it did not turn out to be exactly that. And I was sharing that I feel like that tends to be the more common experience that we as Black people have.
I think it's basically because it's the lack of financial education. And I think once, another quick thing that my mom taught me before she went to go home to be with the Lord, she used to always tell me, Carol, she used to say, baby, when you understand what's going on, you'll know what to do. She said, but the hardest thing in life is just understanding what's going on. But once you do understand what's going on, baby, you will know what to do. So I kind of indoctrinated that in my practice, and just getting people to understand what's going on with their money. Because I'm a true believer that if they do understand and get to realize what they're doing, and the understanding and the education behind what they're doing with their money, they will know what to do.
So let me go back to something else that you said, because you were sharing in your story, you were saying that your mother, that your parents had the misunderstanding, according to the policy that they had, that there would be money available. So can you share with us in what ways does buying insurance correlate to saving and investing, or having, as they thought, money available?
I am so happy that you asked that, because had she bought the proper plan, or if she was educated or given the right information on buying what the proper life insurance plan was, she would have been able to get a policy that would have accumulated money for the rest of her life. And more importantly, she would have got a plan that would have gave her a guaranteed interest rate every year, and she would have been in partnership with the insurance company. So what that means is that when the insurance company made money, they would have made sure that she made money as well, because they would have given her and my dad what is known as a dividend. And a dividend is really, I like to say, a share in the earnings that the insurance company has made for that given year. Kind of like when a stock pays a dividend, the insurance companies pay dividends as well when you have a mutual company, because you are in essence part owner. You have a part ownership in the insurance company's interests. So we kind of educate our clients to make sure that you partner with the insurance company, because the insurance companies are the oldest and most profitable institution in America. They are the only, Carol, when I say the only corporation that has never lost money in a given year. You could go back time to when the stock market crashed in 1929, through World War I, through World War II. Remember this thing called Y2K? And when the stock market crashed in 2007 again, life insurance companies owned by mutual companies paid dividends, meaning they made money. So my thing is, let's educate our community. Let's educate people that look like you and me about partnering with with a corporation that doesn't have a losing record.
I was about to say, so how do we know which corporation is the right one for us? How do we know?
It's a mutual company. Not all companies are mutual. So you want to make sure that you find a company that is mutual, and mutual means that it pays dividends. You want to make sure that track record of that insurance company. Most of the insurance companies, mutual, that are in our portfolio, they have a track record of over 100 years of making money every year. So they have a legacy. So when we talk about partnering with an institution with legacy, I think that is one of the things that we've been missing out on, because we have been educated and entirely wrong about life insurance. We've been taught and we've been told over and over again that life insurance is for when you die.
Right.
And I tell my clients all the time,
so true.
Where in the word is death talks about in life insurance.
How about that? One of our family members has a question. Nasir is asking, so is it good to invest in tax shelter or IRA investment?
It depends. It depends on what your financial situation is. Okay. I like to answer that questions with IRAs and tax deferred kind of things. Is it depends on what your financial situation is. And one of the questions I like to ask my clients is,
Well, I was
can
going
you
to
hear
ask,
me?
can you give us a scenario? Yes.
Yeah.
No,
One of the
I
things
was.
I like to ask my clients is, do you think taxes are going to be higher or lower in the future? Okay. So if you think taxes are going to be higher in the future, then you got to have a different strategy than deferring your money or putting your money into a vehicle that you have to pay taxes on at a later date. So if you think taxes are going to be higher, that's one strategy. If you think taxes are going to be lower, then putting money into a tax deferred vehicle may work out for you because you're postponing the tax treatment on your money to a later date.
So is there ever an instance where you make a suggestion in that scenario?
It depends on what the person's financial situation is because
Okay,
everybody's situation is different. There is
absolutely.
no cookie cutter solution to say you're supposed to be doing this and you're supposed to be doing that. And I think a lot of people make financial errors in their approach is because
Sure.
they're trying to follow the status quo and there is
Well,
no cookie cutter solution
well,
on
here's
how
the
you're
thing.
supposed to plan and manage your money.
I'm sorry to interject, but here's the thing. One of our family members, another one has a question, and I'm with this question. Jocelyn, welcome to the conversation. Jocelyn Noel asks, so if you don't know these things, where do we start educating ourselves so we don't get the wrong policy?
I'm so happy you asked. You know, I'm actually having my first conference, and it's called Cash Value Wealth Builders Conference, and it's going to take place in Philly next week, the 19th and the 20th, Friday and Saturday. It's going to be at the Philadelphia Airport Marriott, and we're going to talk about a plethora of things. More importantly, what type of and what life insurance is and what life insurance does, because
Mm,
we have a misunderstanding of how life insurance works.
we
And
do.
one of the things I'm going to do is peel off the onion of how the rich and how wealthy individuals have life insurance in their portfolios so that they can be able to keep more of the money that they are making and strategically and guarantee pass money ahead so future generations can have a head start.
And that's what we want to do as well. So you shared that your event is taking place at the Philadelphia Airport Marriott
Yeah,
from April 19th through April 20th. Are there times? Is there a fee? Is there what can we expect? What do
it's going to be next Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. There is a fee, and you can find out all the information on www.cashvaluewealthbuilders.com. Okay.
Okay.
And I think it's very important that we're taking a very non-traditional approach to building wealth. And one of the things that I like to say is that we're building indestructible wealth over here. Because when you have the right strategy and when you have the right education, it is almost impossible for you to miss if you just follow out how and utilize how these products work. And one of the things that I'm so passionate about this is because I look at the data, and the data
Mhm.
says that we are approaching spending as a black folks over $2 trillion a year, and that's after taxes. So it's
Mhm.
very important that, especially during this time in April, because April is Financial Literacy Month, that we start to
Thank
get some understanding on how our money works, because we're spending $2.2 trillion and we have less money coming into our
Right.
communities to help empower and help build our communities. And I think it's sometimes that we have to have, um, I like to call it a financial interruption. Like we got to interrupt our
Well,
thinking about
absolutely.
how do we are utilizing how we're spending our money,
Well, to
because
that
everybody is
point,
profiting off of our money except us.
Jeff, to that point, because that we know. Now, what you just shared, we are so well aware of that because commerce doesn't move without us. It just doesn't
Yes,
happen. It does not happen. So, to that point, because we're saying, okay, as a people, we don't really have a good education when it comes to investing and building our, building business and money Where do we begin? If I don't have a clue, if I don't know anything, where do I start? What do I do?
I have some basic financial principles,
Okay.
basic financial education principles. I'll share them right now. Like the first thing is rule number one: always pay yourself first. Because Carol, who do you work for?
I work for me.
You work for you. So why do you pay you last? That's what most of us in our communities do. We try to pay off everybody else and then try to save what's left over. And historically, that
Uh-huh.
never works. So we got to flip the script. We got to start to pay ourselves first. And then we got to start to build some leverage in the money that we're making. Because too many times we are spending money in areas that do not produce any return on our money. And we got to flip the script on that. One of the things that I discovered that in our communities, more than 50% of our income is going away for lifestyle expenses. And those
Listen,
lifestyle,
you're not telling us anything we don't know. You're not telling us that, not that part. That what the
but
part I
if,
want to
if
get to, because listen, I'm gonna tell you this, because I'm telling you this hour goes by so quickly. And I want our families to I want our family members to hear you and say, yep, I got that one. Okay, now I need to do this. And I need to talk to Jeff because I need to know more about this. So you were just sharing with us, you were drilling down. And you were saying, okay, the first thing is to pay yourself first. I always jokingly say, I work for my fur child. So I'm the keeper of Chloe's chateau. So yes, I do pay me. Yes, I am. I am. And so wait, Jocelyn, and she got it right. Stepping on our toes, fly and broke. You ain't never lied. So we've got number one, pay ourselves first. How
second
many?
thing is,
How many?
second
How
thing is,
many? Mm-hmm.
so I got this formula, right? I call it the 10-10-10-50-20 rule.
Okay.
Okay. So 10% of your income, first thing you do is pay yourself
Okay.
first, right?
Okay.
The second 10%, well, usually the first 10% is that you want to take your first 10% and give. You want to give to your church, you want to give to a charitable organization, but givers always get. So I live by that principle that give and it will come back to you. Good measures, pressed down, shaken together, run it over. You know the routine.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you want to
Yes.
be a
Yes.
giver first. Okay, the second 10% you're going to give to you because who you working for? You work for you. You are your own corporation. You got to start thinking that way. The third 10%, I like to put it in cash value life insurance because that cash value life insurance is going to provide me an opportunity to grow money for the rest of my life. And
You
that's the
see that?
part that we're missing out on because we have no protectors in what we are doing. We have no permission slips in what we are doing. And
How
one of
about
the things
that?
that I discovered is that life insurance, cash value life insurance, a whole life from a mutual insured company gives you permission. So we got to have some permission in our portfolio. The next thing is 50% of your income should be going to pay your rent if you're renting, pay your mortgage if you own a house, pay for your car note, okay? Pay for your utilities, pay for your
All your
groceries,
bills.
pay for all of your bills. And
Yeah.
this is one of the biggest things that we're missing out on after we're not paying ourselves first. After we're not giving, we are way over indexed in 50% over that income. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
us are house rich and dollar poor. We got big cars and we robbing Peter to pay Paul to put gas in
This
those
is
cars.
true.
So we got to stop. We got to interrupt that. And then you got 20% of your money is for fun, it's for entertainment, it's for shopping. Okay. So
Okay.
that is the thing in the philosophy that will help people understand more about what's going on with their money. And that
Jeff,
second
we're going to
20%,
go. Wait, one more. One. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm so sorry because this is so. There's so much to talk about. It's time for us to take a commercial break. First of all, family, welcome, 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 welcome. If you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. We are talking with Jeff, the Wealth Builder, and the next question that I have, but I'm going to ask it, but then I'm going to ask you to answer it when we come back from the commercial break,
okay,
is about um term life and
let's
whole.
go. I got a
Yes,
great way.
because
I got
I
a
know.
great way for you to understand what the
Yes,
difference is, though.
please, because I know
Yes,
some of our
indeed.
family members want to know too.
I
Family, I
got
know you have questions. I know you do. I know you do. And if you do, feel free to give us a call. because
Tell
the
them to
phone
get their
lines are
questions.
still
Tell them to get
open.
their questions in because
And
I'm
Jeff,
expensive.
I'm going to ask you to give me one moment. Family, know that the phone lines are still open and feel free to comment on our socials. We're going to take just a short break, but we're coming right back.
Meet Amanda. She loves to start her day by heading to her favorite coffee shop.
Morning, Amanda. Black coffee, no sugar.
Then, she usually takes the long way to share a little treat with Coco, Mrs. Lopez's little terrier. And when Amanda arrives to open the Keystone First Wellness and Opportunity Center, Mr. Freeman is always there.
You always on time, Amanda.
Always on time, Mr. Freeman.
Amanda has been a community health educator at Keystone First for over 15 years. She knows this community as well as the community knows her. As a local health plan, we don't only take care of members. For over 35 years, we have known them as neighbors, friends, and family. As Southeastern Pennsylvania's largest medical assistance managed care health plan, our roots run deep. Visit KeystoneFirstPA.com to learn how we can help you get care and stay well.
Hey Philly, it's your favorite church girl, Kayla Jett, and I have a question for you. Do you know who your state senator is? Better yet, do you know what legislative district you're in? Did you know that there are 7 out of 50 senators representing Philadelphians in Harrisburg right now? The state senate is responsible for creating state laws, policies, and the budget. It's these people that control the minimum wage, protect women's reproductive rights, controls probation, and they created the plastic bag ban. They're elected every 2 years of a 4-year term, and this year they're on the ballot. Currently, Pennsylvania State Senate is made up of 22 Democrats and 28 Republicans. To find more 2024 election information, go to wordradio.com/2024vote. This is your word on democracy. Your vote matters. Our democracy matters. This public service announcement is brought to you by AARP.
Tune in to Word Radio this Saturday at 10 a.m. for Saturdays with City Council. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
No, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking about finances. We are talking with Jeff, the Wealth Builder. Family, I see that you've been checking in. Our beloved Ms. Rosalind, our love light, Rosalind Allen. Hi there. She is sending us all our flowers while we can still smell them. Our love light, Michelle White, is joining us as well. Hi there, Shell. Happy to have you here. Lucy Little is joining us as well. Happy to have you join us too. Eric has a question. I'm going to ask Eric's question before we go back to the question I asked you before the commercial break, Jeff. Eric asks, he shares, good evening, Mr. Moore. Thanks and welcome to the WURD platform. Do you think that millennials of all races pay more attention now to education and financial stability as opposed to the Generation X folks?
I do believe that they do, but I do believe that there is so much noise out there in the financial literacy, financial education space that most people, because they don't have a plan, they end up learning the hard way. And that learning the hard way is they learn by losing as opposed to having the right kind of strategy in place. So I think now young folks are just using too much. They're going too much off of sound clips as opposed to having affectional strategy and going forward. Because this is a strategy game. The financial institutions profit off of misinformation. So when you don't understand what's going on, you lose. So as you do get to understand what's going on, you get to understand how to stay more in control of your money so you can have more money to do the things that you want to do with your money. And the way that we help our folks is that we help them to strategize with taxes, because taxes are going to be your biggest expense for the rest of your life. So we can help you to reduce and or eliminate your tax exposure. We're going to automatically increase your rate of return. So now you asked a very important question before we went away for break, and getting down to this life insurance. And I stay on this thing about life insurance because in our community, because most people, it's like a taboo subject. Like when people hear life insurance, they just they automatically turn off, because I don't think that they understand the power, and they just look at it at, they don't understand what it is and what it does. So to break it down really, really quickly, I know we don't have a lot of time, but look at life insurance and breaking it down in 3 different categories. The first category, and I'm gonna use a real estate analogy because most people understand real estate. Term insurance is like having an apartment. Okay. You have no ownership in term insurance. You get no equity. You get no value building up because you live in an apartment. Okay. So you don't get the benefits of living in a house as opposed to living in an apartment. Your rent is cheap. You have a landlord, and in insurance terms, the landlord is the insurance company. Now, living in an apartment or having term insurance is not a bad thing starting off, but it's not a great strategy, especially for wealth building, to hold on to that term for the whole term. Because what happens is that after that term expires, the rates dramatically, I mean, they increase a ton. Okay. And the insurance companies price it that way. Okay. They want it to be very expensive when that term runs out. And that term can be a 1-year term, which is an annual renewable term. It could be a 10-year term, a 20-year term, a 30-year term. And they have some companies now are talking about going all the way up to 40 years, because they know mathematically that if you live out that term for its duration, the insurance companies is not going to pay a claim on it. So when they take your vitals, which is blood and urine, and get your medical records, they are the best at managing risk known to man. They can almost pinpoint when your life expectancy or when you're going to die, because they are the only institution outside of God that will put their money behind how long you're going to live.
Wow. Wow.
So the term insurance has an expiration date.
Okay.
98% of those term policies never pay, but it's a great place to start. It's a horrible place to finish. So that's term insurance. Now, they have some other products that's called universal life, index universal life, variable universal life. Okay, so those are the popular things. Those policies were the insurance company's answer to when Prime America, you remember Prime America and A.L. Williams, they had to buy term and invest the difference, and they was getting everybody to cash in their whole life plans and buy term and invest in the stock market because they said it was sexy.
Right.
So that was those plans, the universal life, index universal life, and variable universal life was the insurance company's answer to buy term and invest the difference. And I like to give the analogy of it's like having and living in a trailer home. You know what a trailer home is? So a trailer home is like when you can own the trailer home, but you always got to rent the land that it sits on. Okay, so it's never complete ownership when you have those plans. So we shy away from those kind of programs. We only use them for very specific individualized strategies for universal life, a variable universal life, and index universal life, because statistically those policies are not going to be enforced the moment that you die, statistically, from the data that we've been looking at. So we concentrate more on whole life. Whole life is like owning your own house. Okay. So when you own your own house, you got equity and cash value that builds in the plan. Now, let me backtrack real quick. The universal life, the index universal life, and the variable universal life also builds cash value, but they also have a lot of costs to it as well. When you have the whole life plan, those costs are fixed. They're not variable. So the fixed costs in the whole life plan, and with the way that those policies are designed with the guaranteed interest and with the dividends, oftentimes you get a greater return on your monies that you're putting into the plan as compared to universal life, variable universal life, and variable universal life, because the costs are fixed. And
Okay.
whole life. I'm sorry, I'm going fast, but whole
No,
life
I know I know. And I have one more question for you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
whole life insurance is the only plan that you can pay off and own for your life. Kind of like you can only pay off your mortgage in a whole life plan. You can pay that mortgage off entirely. The other plans in life insurance, you can never own them outright. Whole life plan is the only one that you can.
So I could start a whole life plan. Say that if I'm 50, I could start. I could
Absolutely, you
start
can
a whole
start.
life.
You can start one as late as we got some companies that go to 85.
Oh
Okay, but you
wow.
got to qualify for it. So we recommend that you get them young, and as
Mm-hmm.
young as you are, and we recommend that you always have a strategy wrapped around how do you use it. And one of the things, we're building a community with Cash Value Wealth Builders, where we are specifically setting up plans to not only replace income, and I'm going to talk about replacing income for a minute, but also to buy assets. We want to build your cash value up so you could go out and buy stocks, so you could go out and buy real estate, so you could go out and start your own business, so you can make an investment in you. And these are some of the things that we have not had proper education around. And this is
Right.
something that the rich have been pimping out policies on for over 100 years. And so now it's time for us to start to utilize these same kind of strategies as well.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about your financial literacy event, your upcoming event, which will take place on April 19th and April 20th. You told us that there is a fee involved. Is the fee that we pay for both days, or is it or for
Is
one
for
day?
both days.
Okay.
We have 9 speakers that's going to be there talking about various things on money management, talking about financial trauma, because a lot of us, we got some financial trauma we got to get over. So I'm bringing
Yes,
speakers
we
in
do.
that's going to address that. We got speakers that's going to talk about real estate, how to leverage real estate in your portfolio, how to home hack, how to get multiple income on streams on investment property. We have a CPA that specialization is in taxation, dealing with real estate investors. So we're bringing a ton of financial information in to help you to elevate your knowledge and build like some real wealth. It's time for us to start to build some wealth. We got too much money going in our hands for us to be in the financial situations that we're in, because education changes situations, and we're trying to be in a place that we can bring you the right information so you could build, develop, and grow yourself as a person, and more importantly, keep more of the money that you are operating on. One of the things, as I said earlier, is that we know how to make the money. It's time for us to learn how to keep the money, how to protect the money, how to grow the money, so we can enjoy the money and then pass the money on to the next generation, because that is so important. And I think that is the exit strategy that many of us are missing in our financial portfolios, because too many times we are losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily to financial institutions, to banks, to nursing homes, to the government. And we got a
To
time that we got to
everything.
wake up. We just got to wake up.
Everything that you,
The
when you say we're
information,
losing money, there's an ellipsis after that, because we, and you're absolutely right.
it's
Absolutely.
because we just haven't been exposed to these strategies, or
We haven't
how
been
to do.
educated.
We haven't been educated, as we used to say growing up. It's time for us to get some of this knowledge,
Yeah.
because once
But that's why we have
one
you.
one that's why we have you. And one of the things I'll put it in the chat room as well is that, like, for all of your listeners, for the next 72 hours, right? If they go to cashvaluewealthbuilders.com and put in the coupon code CVWB, which stands for Cash Value Wealth Builder, they'll get 40% off of that ticket, okay? And
Oh
that ticket
wow.
comes with a lunch, and with lunch and snacks both days, as well as the training of the 9 speakers, and you're going to get exposed
Oh
to a great community. You're going to meet some nice dope people who are on the road to, like, really being wealth builders. We're trying to start a revolution here. This is our first conference. We're kicking it off in Philly, and I am so happy and grateful to be leading this charge to have people that look like me become true wealth builders and build some indestructible wealth, so we can hand off the next generation, so they don't have to. I mean, I wished I would have been able to have some money to come in when my mother and my father died to help propel the things that I was building right now. So many times in our communities, we do this start and stop kind of stuff that we got to stop with because we be doing really well, then something bad happens, and now we 3 steps backward. And then we get back up to even, then something bad happens, and now we 5 steps backwards. So we got to get off of this roller coaster. And one of the things that I think is so important is to start to create a system where money is in the family forever. And one of the most cost-effective ways that we have discovered that works is with life insurance. And that's why I'm leading the charge with that first, because we can establish money in the family forever. Can you imagine what more discoveries and more resources that we could be generating out of our community if there was a financial pool to help propel us when we was getting started?
My imagination is vast. I am so grateful that you came to talk with us about this, because now the journey can begin. We can begin this journey to financial literacy and wellness. And that's the goal. That is the goal. I'm with you on that. I want to thank you so much for coming. I know like I said, the hour goes by so fast.
I know. Thank you for having me.
Will you come back? Will you come back to visit with us?
It would be my pleasure. I will come back whenever you need me. Just call me. I'll be there because you got a friend, Carol.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
All you gotta do is call.
Thank you, Jeff. Family. Well, guess what? We're leading into our second hour. We're taking a commercial break, but stay with us because I will be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed on Love and Life.
We are talking in this hour with Dr. Ayo. Since we're in a day and age where everybody lives their lives in real time on social media, everybody's sharing what's going on in their relationships, and nothing seems to be personal anymore. Now, how do we get away from that?
Well, people have to become more secure. People who are insecure like a lot of attention. And so people may need to do something as creative as get into a conflict resolution course, go into therapy. People like to imagine that if you have a PhD, you can see anybody. That's not accurate. You need someone from your cultural background who is culturally grounded in being African-centered, because otherwise it's like having a Caucasian do therapy with you who doesn't get it. You need to understand that some of our trauma comes from generations back, and it comes down to the most recent generations. And if we've been traumatized, which we all have been, then we pass our trauma on to others. I pass my pain on to you.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds from Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
The Pennsylvania Lottery's $160 million cash blowout scratch-off will have you ready to step up your A game. A little birdie told me you could have a chance to win top prizes of $3 million. Pick up the Pennsylvania Lottery's $160 million cash blowout scratch-off for the ultimate hole-in-one. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Problem gambling? Helpline 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's the city commissioners reminding you that voting is now more accessible and just as safe.
That's right. Voting by mail is easy, safe, and you can do it from the comfort of your own home or at one of our satellite election offices.
But hurry, the deadline to apply for a mail ballot is Tuesday, April 16th by 5 p.m. Don't miss out on this opportunity to shape our future. Visit vote.phila.gov for more information.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Can I touch this? Where does sand come from? Is this tree good for climbing? What happens if I mix these two things together? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Storing your guns securely is the best way to prevent family fire, including unintentional shootings. For more information on safe gun storage and ways to keep your family safe, visit endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org.
What do we keep in the attic? What's this thing called? Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
How y'all doing? This is Wynton Marcellus, urging you to please support Jazz Appreciation Month. We're going to try to make Jazz Appreciation Month into Jazz Appreciation Decade.
Jazz, born in America and enjoyed worldwide. For more information, visit www.smithsonianjazz.org.
Well, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Get ready for our annual Jackie Robinson Day, celebrating the life and legacy of number 42, the first Black athlete to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Join Word Radio on Monday, April 15th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Browns Family ShopRite, 52nd and Parkside, for a special live broadcast hosted by Chris Murray and Tanya Pendleton. The celebration will feature conversations about Jackie Robinson's accomplishments and impact as an athlete and life as a civil rights activist. There will be food, prizes, and much, much more. Be there on Monday, April 15th to celebrate the life of the great Jackie Robinson. Brought to you by Comcast, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, Pico, Hers Snack Foods, and Dietz & Watson.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. Was that not a conversation? OMG. I didn't even realize it was Financial Literacy Month, but I'm so happy to have had a visit with Jeff Moore. That is, he came to talk with us to help us get our affairs in order. Okay. Came to get our affairs in order. And for those of you who did not hear the website or did not see it when I typed it in the chat, just let me know and I will share it again, just so that you can have the information. The website is www.cashvaluewealthbuilders.com. There's a code that you can use if you have any intent or desire to attend the event, and you can get 40% off. And that code is good for the next 72 hours. The code is CV, that's Charlie Victor Water Bravo, CVWB, Charlie Victor Water Bravo. Well, so family, I thought of doing something. Typically, when I start the show, I share with you our Black History 365 moment, and then some of our family members come a little later. So I said, you know what? I think I need to start sharing it in the second hour as well, so that we can all be well versed. So I'm going to share with you our Black History 365 moment once again. Today's Black History 365 moment is about Lorraine Hansberry. Born on May 19th in 1930 in Chicago, Illinois, She was the youngest of 4 children in a family deeply entrenched in the struggle for civil rights. She became an American playwright and writer. Her most celebrated work, A Raisin in the Sun, made its Broadway debut in 1959 and quickly garnered widespread acclaim for its poignant portrayal of the African American experience. A Raisin in the Sun shattered barriers on Broadway, becoming the first play written by a Black woman to be produced on a prestigious stage. Its critical and commercial success catapulted Hansberry to prominence, earning her the distinction of being the youngest playwright and the first Black playwright to receive the New York Drama Critics Circle Award for Best Play. Family, that's today's Black History 365 moment. Now, you know I have some reminders that I have to share with you once again, so I'm going to do that in this moment before I introduce you to our next guest. And I have a lot to remind you about, so sit tight. The first of which is the Melanin Market. Word Radio, Katika, and Youngest in Charge present the 7th annual Melanin Market, the premier indoor festival celebrating Black-owned businesses globally. This year's event is set for April 13th at the Pennsylvania Convention Center, located at 1100 Arch Street. Doors open at 10 a.m. for a day packed with cultural celebration and empowerment. Highlights include a youth pitch contest at noon, a fashion showcase at 2 p.m., and an exhilarating hair lock battle at 4 p.m. Admission is absolutely free for children under 12, and tickets are only $25 at the door, but you can save by purchasing online for just $15. Visit themelaninmarket.com to secure your tickets, but don't miss out. Be there and check out a special WURD live broadcast hosted by Dr. Aaron Smith, the rapping professor, from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. right here on WURD. I'm going to share with you next that EcoFest is coming Saturday, April 20th from 1 until 5 p.m. at the historic Belmont Mansion in the beautiful Fairmount Park. Creating Black Green Futures is the theme for this year's festival-style Earth Day celebration, featuring panel conversations with leading environmentalists and holistic health professionals, including Word Radio's Dr. Paul Hopkins, our beloved. There will be drummers, additional music, and spoken word by Nikki Powerhouse. The Black farmers will be there with a workshop and demonstration and so much more. Stay tuned to Word for more exciting details. Remember, family, that Saturday, April 20th at the historic Belmont Mansion. This year's EcoFest Earth Day celebration is brought to you by Keystone First, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, PICO, Philadelphia Water Department, Parks and Recreation, and the Philadelphia Recycling Office. Slow down, Carol, slow down. Family, get ready for our annual Jackie Robinson Day, celebrating the life and legacy of number 42, the first Black athlete to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball. Join Word Radio on Monday, April 15th from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Browns ShopRite 52nd and Parkside location for a special live broadcast hosted by our beloved Chris Murray. The celebration will feature conversations about Jackie Robinson's accomplishments and impact as an athlete and his life as a civil rights activist. There will be food, prizes, and much more. Be there on Monday, April 15th to celebrate the life and legacy of the great Jackie Robinson. Brought to you by Comcast, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Keystone First, PICO, Hers Snack Foods, and Dietz and Watson. And lastly, want to hear from candidates for Pennsylvania's Attorney General live and in person? Well, meet Word Radio at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church on April 18th. We will broadcast live from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. to hear from the candidates and their visions for this critical role. Moderated by our beloved Andrea Lawful Sanders, this event will help you make your decision before the April 23rd primary. Doors will open at 6 p.m. You can attend in person at Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, located at 2800 West Cheltenham Avenue, or you can listen live on Word Radio next Thursday, April 18th, from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. This is your word on democracy. Your vote matters. Our democracy matters. So, family, I'm curious to know. So we just spoke with our first guest, Greg. We just spoke with our first guest, Jeff. Our next guest is Greg. We spoke with Jeff, and we were talking about financial literacy. I'm curious to know, just by, do we all have whole life insurance policies? And the other question I have for you too is, did you always know the difference? I'm going to be honest with you. I did not. I did not always know the difference. It wasn't until I was well into my good and grown adult life that I was made aware of the difference in the two. So I'm just curious to know about you. What did you know? Did you know? Ms. Rosalind, I saw you. She shared. She said, yeah, I knew a long time ago. See that? I need to hang with you more, Ms. Rosalind, because our love light knows. She knows a little bit about everything. So, family, I won't keep you long. I was sharing with you that we do have another phenomenal guest. And I want you to know exactly who he is. I want you to meet him. He is none other than Greg Jackson, who is the Deputy Director of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention at the White House. That's yes, indeed. He is a community organizer, campaign strategist, experienced advocate, and communications professional in Washington, D.C., and he also serves as the National Advocacy Director for the Community Justice Action Fund, committed to reducing gun violence by empowering those most impacted by violence to lead, organize, advocate, and create solutions in our country. We don't have him for long, so I'm going to shut my mouth and welcome him into the room. Welcome to the conversation with Greg Jackson. Hello there, good sir.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay?
I can. We can hear you very well. First of all, thank you for taking the time out of what I imagine to be an incredibly busy day. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I got you.
Okay. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
No, thank you for having me. It's been a very busy day, but this is an exciting way to end it with all my Philly family.
I don't doubt that it has, especially in light of the new developments. So I know we don't have you for long. I know that we don't. And I'm grateful that you came to discuss with us this morning's newly announced effort. First of all, you shared that you're from Philadelphia. I did not know that.
No, not from Philly. Just got a lot of love people out there.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm missing.
I'm from Virginia. You know, we cousins, I'm sure.
We sure are. I misunderstood you, as they would say. So, okay. Before going any further, I just want to jump in, if that's all right with you, because I know you have to leave us shortly. Can you give us a brief explanation, if you will, for those who might not be fully aware about this morning's newly announced effort to reduce the number of guns sold?
Yes,
without background check.
Exactly. So today we announced the largest expansion of background checks for gun purchases since 1993. And this is huge for a few reasons, because we have been studying where guns are coming from, especially illegal guns. And we found that when illegal guns are trafficked into our communities, the number one source of these illegal guns are unlicensed private sellers. And those folks are not licensed. They're not running background checks, and they're selling guns online. They're selling them at gun shows and parking lots, at flea markets. And those guns are the ones that are being trafficked overwhelmingly into our communities. In fact, for guns that are trafficked, we found that 66% of those guns that are trafficked are later used in a shooting. And so this expansion of background checks now requires anyone who's selling guns online or at a gun show or selling guns for profit, they now are required to be licensed and to use background checks. And so we think that this will be the biggest change to address the supply of guns that are illegally being trafficked into communities all over the country, whether it's in the hands of domestic abusers, in the hands of our youth that unfortunately are in the middle of so many shootings across the country, but also in the hands of those who are prohibited from owning firearms, like felons in so many of our communities. And so this is a major step to hold those private sellers accountable, to make sure that they're living up to the same standard as gun stores in America.
First, let me say I definitely applaud the effort. It is a tremendous step, in the fight against gun violence and crime. So thank you so much for that. Applauding everything that you all are doing in this area. So what effect, or I should ask, what are the hopes and belief that this will have in cities with high gun violence, like our city, like Philadelphia?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, when we look at the number of gun dealers in America, right now there's 80,000 gun dealers. And our estimates, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, and when we look at the private unlicensed sellers, there's around 20,000 of them. And to just give you some perspective, I mean, there's only 13,000 McDonald's in America, right? So there is a huge market of stores and individuals that are selling guns for profit. And so we know that those 20,000 sellers need to be held accountable, because in the last 5 years, we've seen over 230,000 guns sold through these private sources. We found one person who actually was charged after selling 103,000 guns on the black market, was then caught and charged. And so we know these 20,000 folks who are fueling the black market of guns that are going in, that are coming into our communities, that are coming to our cities, that they have to be held accountable to. And so we think this will have a major impact on disrupting the black market of illegal guns that are in our communities, that are in our cities, in our neighborhoods in Philly. And frankly, the scariest part is that they're in the hands of youth. And I know just a few days ago, there was a shooting where a youth was found with an assault weapon, and he was, 12 years old? Yeah. And so we have to figure out, how do we disrupt the supply where our kids can get to a gun easier than they can get to a book or a quality education. And that requires looking at the source, looking at the traffickers, and holding everyone accountable to who put that gun in that child's hand.
If you don't mind, one of our family members has a question. Eric shares, good evening, Mr. Jackson. Big welcome to the WURD platform. If for some reason Donald Trump gets elected to president, do you believe that Rob Wilcox and yourself will be able to continue your gun violence prevention cause in the future? Basically, is it something Donald Trump will back?
Well, he's already said on the campaign trail that this is something that he will not support. He bragged about not taking action on gun violence on purpose. And he even said after one of the mass shootings that the community is going to have to deal with it. And so it's very clear where he stands on this issue. President Biden has moved forward 38 executive actions, more executive actions than any president in history. We passed the first bill on gun violence in 29 years. We've invested $30 billion into violence prevention strategies, of which $12 billion have gone to community organizations. So it wasn't just law enforcement. It was going directly to our communities. We made the largest investment in youth mental health in response to the crisis of gun violence. And here we are now, making gun trafficking a felony offense for the first time, cracking down on private sellers that we know are fueling the guns that are getting into the hands of our babies, and also holding the entire industry accountable, whether it's ghost guns or rogue gun dealers. This administration is cracking down on everyone that's profited off of the death in our communities. And that's something that we are proud of, that we fight for every single day. We literally had a meeting with the president today, and he shared his excitement around this and how this is something that he had been fighting for since the 90s and was so proud that we got it done today. But you're not going to see that energy, if we move forward to or move backwards, frankly, to the previous administration. And so our office is proud to be here. We're working every single day as hard as we can. And we recognize that, our days are numbered, and we hope that the real number is 5 years from now.
Sure. Thank you so much for that. And I'm so glad that you touched on ghost guns as well, because I was going to ask you, that's a huge concern for me personally. Because I'm reading the statistics on how many of them are being created or made or found, if you will. And so it's good to know that that's a consideration as well, and that the penalties for those are as strict as is for the other firearms. Family, for those of you who have just joined us, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Greg Jackson in this hour, who is the Deputy Director for the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. And he's talking with us about this morning's newly announced effort as it pertains to gun violence. We're going to take a commercial break, but we'll be just a moment. So family, know that the phone lines are still open. Feel free to comment on our socials, but whatever you do, stay with us because we're coming right back.
For a weekly dose of sports news and history, tune in to the Chris Murray Report, Saturdays at 11 a.m. only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Word Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey is brought to you by Comcast.
What do you think happens to your digital footprint when you pass away? Who gets access to those social media accounts, your online bank, or that Netflix subscription after you're gone? There are a lot of things to consider right now about your digital afterlife. Will any photos be downloaded and saved? Would you want someone to take over your Facebook page? Do you have a hard drive where sensitive information is saved that someone might need to access? Some social media platforms allow you to designate what they call a legacy contact, but you should also consider the idea of a digital will. It works in a similar way to a regular will, but it will designate someone to be in charge of all your online accounts and provide them with login information and your instructions on how to manage those accounts after you're gone. It's not necessarily something we want to think about, but a little advanced planning for your digital afterlife can make things easier for the loved ones we leave here. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
I want you to imagine for a moment you're in a hospital. You are the patient connected to an IV bag. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, endless pokes, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine experiencing all of these things and you're only a child. This is why Starlight exists. To bring happiness to hospitalized children through programs that help kids cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook. Programs like gaming, virtual reality headsets, toy deliveries, radio flyer wagons, and cozy hospital gowns are just a few of the ways Starlight eases a child's hospital stay. Because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
EcoFest is back. Save the date for the 2024 EcoFest Earth Day celebration, creating Black Green Futures. Saturday, April 20th from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. at the historic Belmont Mansion in beautiful Fairmount Park. This festival-style celebration will feature panel conversations with leading environmentalists, music, workshops, vendors, and much more. Stay tuned to WURD for more exciting details. Remember, Saturday, April 20th at the historic Belmont Mansion. This year's EcoFest Earth Day celebration is brought to you by Keystone First, the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, University City Science Center, and PICO. We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Family, welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. For a brief moment here, we have with us Greg Jackson, who is the Deputy Director of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. And he is talking with us about this morning's newly announced effort as it pertains to gun violence, an effort that I must say I'm grateful for. I'm extremely grateful for. And I believe you did mention this earlier, but I'm going to ask you in the event that you did not, if you could share with us how this new effort will make it more difficult for individuals to acquire illegal firearms.
Yes, and so in America, there's 20,000 sellers out there, based on the ATF or the Department of Justice estimates, that are selling guns that are not licensed and are not actually running background checks on who the purchasers are. And so, as of today, that is illegal. They must be licensed, and they must actually run background checks before they can make those sales legally. This includes online sales, gun shows, flea markets, and numerous loopholes that we've seen being leveraged across the country. And this is huge because we think this will actually disrupt thousands, if not millions, of gun sales across the country, where we know that folks who can't get a gun through traditional means at a gun store with a background check, they typically will move to the black market. And the black market, the number one source of guns for trafficking, is these gun stores, or these unlicensed gun sellers. And so this major measure now requires them to be licensed, to run background checks. And we know this will have a huge impact on disrupting the supply of illegal guns that are trafficked into the hands of those who are prohibited to have them.
So you shared, and thank you for that. You shared with us that now that this is illegal, what exactly are the penalties? You did share with us that there are stricter penalties now, but what exactly are the penalties that they will face?
Well, I think it's a little too early to lay that out exactly. I think it definitely will vary, but it is a felony offense that can be overseen by ATF, which is the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency. It's the federal law enforcement agency that oversees the moving of firearms. And so whether it's shutting down your ability to sell or criminal prosecution, it really varies depending on the severity of the actual trafficking or the sales. And I think that's again, it will vary, but I think we're stepping in the right direction. Whereas before, these loopholes were being abused, and there was very little action done to prevent it. Now we have more tools in our toolbox to hold these folks accountable and frankly disrupt this black market that we know is fueling violence in our communities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another one of our family members has a question. Alfred. Hi there, Alfred. Welcome to the conversation. Alfred Evans shares, Mr. Jackson, has this effort been tried in any other city? And if so, with what success?
Well, it hasn't been tried in other cities. This is really something we've had to take action on federally. But what's clear is that we know where the guns are going. Unfortunately, guns sold from unlicensed sellers in Indiana, we can trace those guns going into Chicago. We can trace unlicensed private sales in Arizona going to LA. Unlicensed guns sold in Virginia coming to Philly. And, so it's very clear that the guns that are being sold without background checks and then later are being trafficked are pouring into cities all over the country, and it's typically the cities that are being most tragically impacted by gun violence.
So I was asking you earlier about these ghost guns. Now I know there's a certain amount of difficulty in determining from where they originate. I would imagine, I should say, because I don't know anything about ghost guns, which is why I'm asking. But the efforts as it pertains to ghost guns as well. You touched on it briefly, but I'm curious to know, are there concerted efforts in that area specifically as it pertains to ghost guns as well?
Yes. So this administration, the Biden-Harris administration, is the first administration to take action on ghost guns specifically. First, doing analysis and reports around the crisis of these pieces. And for folks who don't know, ghost guns are guns that are assembled, where you can purchase pieces of the gun and then build the gun. The challenge with that is that it's often untraceable and lacks the serial numbers for us to know where that is. And frankly, we can't track or trace the background checks that need to be done, or if it's found at a crime, we can't trace it back to where it came from. So the first step was assessing it. the second big step is that we looked at this and we said, look, we need to hold the manufacturers of these pieces to the same accountability as the manufacturers of an entire gun. And that's exactly what this administration is taking action on, is how do we hold them to the same standard? If manufacturers have a certain level of responsibility in how guns are developed and built and designed, and making sure that they're traceable and they have serial numbers, then guess what? Ghost gun producers must do that as well. And in fact, when we set these new standards, some of them couldn't make the cut. And one of those companies has already shut down because they couldn't keep up with these new standards. And so we are now treating these manufacturers that are building pieces the same way we're treating an entire gun company and manufacturer. And we're already starting to see a slow there, as well as some of the more on the ground focused raids and pursuit of these ghost guns that are being assembled or assembled in bulk in communities across the country.
Well, I'd like to thank you once again for stopping by, for just taking the time, sharing your time, your energy, your attention, your knowledge with us. We so appreciate you. We applaud your efforts and the efforts of the administration. And I know we only had you for just a short while, so I just want to say thank you once again.
No problem. And if I could share one last thing, I mean, we've made all of these measures and efforts over the last few years. And I just want to share with you all that we're starting to see change. We are starting to see reductions. Last year, we saw the sharpest decrease in homicides in a single year in American history. And while that may be terrible, to think about, hey, we have a decrease because there's so many people that are being lost, it is a signal to us that we're going in the right direction. And so we're going to keep investing resources in communities that are most impacted, whether that's victims or families or youth, or those coming home from incarceration. We're also going to keep attacking the root causes of violence, whether it's economic opportunity or housing or education or mental health or therapeutic health. But then we're also going to keep cracking down on those who are profiting and frankly, making dollars off of the death of our bodies in our communities. And so whether that's manufacturers, gun dealers, traffickers, or even these unlicensed private sellers, we're making sure that the accountability upstream is just as aggressive as what we're seeing in our streets, to make sure that we're holding people accountable after they cause a tragedy. And so we're thankful to be here, thankful to be on your show. And again, I know it's really hard out there, but I think we should all stay inspired and really lean into the solutions that we know work, so we can get out of this health crisis together. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Would you be open to coming to visit with us again in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. It's a great time.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you. Have a great rest of your night, and we hope to see you soon.
All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome. You as well. Family, here we are. Once again, welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD. I was sharing with you that we only had Mr. Jackson with us for a short amount of time, and understandably so. I mean, with everything taking place today and this newly announced effort that was announced just this morning, from the administration. So I don't know about you, but I'm happy to know that these efforts are being made. I'm grateful for the information, for the statistics that we were just told, the ones that we just learned of. I had no idea that the numbers were as large as they were. I don't know about you, but I did not. I know, we talk about Philly, we talk about the tri-state area, we talk about the crime, around us, but sometimes our lens isn't as wide. We're not looking at the country as a whole as it pertains to gun violence. And I know for me personally, I will speak for myself, I would look at the numbers here in Philadelphia, not outside of Philly. It didn't matter to me. Well, it did matter. I should not say that, but I wasn't as on top of the statistics as it pertained to other cities and other states. But it's good to know that our current administration is on top of it and is paying attention, that their eyes are wide open. I'm going to take a moment to go to our phone lines. One of our family members is on line 1. Hello, and thank you so much for calling.
Hello, Carol. How you doing?
Hi, Ron.
Yes, I'm enjoying the program. I want to talk about the banking system and make you aware of it.
Okay.
You know, there will never be a 1929 in the United States of America. When that bank in 1928 defaulted in Australia, triggering off the Great Depression, the president of this country, the minute I think they who was taking the money out of the country, and they put in bumpers to place where we have never experienced that in this country. I want you to do some research on the bank, the Swiss bank system.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Switzerland. I want you to do some research on investments in the stock market where our city money is that they invest in stock. Do this name remember? Do anyone in the audience remember this name? Alan Greenspan, the head of the Federal Reserve. And the guy that opened my eyes up to a lot to try to understand the banking system, Michael Forsky, he said something, and then it only rang true today. He talked about the stock. He said it's nothing but paper. And so when they talk about the deficit, when they look at this country, we have more banks in this country than we ever had. A lot of them are not federal, protected by the federal government. A lot of them are not. And I'm saying that this here, you must realize one thing. Never again will we experience that banking system default in this country. Let me tell you why. Because there's no kind of way that could happen when our government are giving resources to other countries. The two countries, Israel, and they're giving country to the other country over there where they're fighting, and over the other guy over there. And so a lot of this here at the G7 summit, when they assemble that's what they come together to do, to talk about, to make sure that the system, because we all connected, and banking is so important when you invest in banking, have money to invest in that. And I learned a little bit back when I was a child, and it got brought to my attention as I got older with the PSSS Bank. Some people have brought that over as they got adults with the bank. It's very important. It's not how much you can put in at one time. You can start off, you young men and women out there and young people working in your 20s. You can start, let's say, for instance, out of your paycheck. That's why they say always pay yourself first. You can take and start, just say, I'm going to put $70 away every paycheck. And you let that accumulate. 19 years or 20 years, the type of resource you'll have to work with in this country. Then we also got to be very mindful when they're talking about Russia with a ruble, and they're talking about changing the currency.
I said,
When Kennedy got himself in trouble, going off the gold standard, why is it you learn of people in your institutions of indoctrination? How come you never hear anything about where all our gold used to be at Fort Dix? It says it's very important that you are a citizen in this country and you need to begin to know how to function with resources. It's very important. Let's look at our older people down south, maybe someone in your family. They had real estate. Any time that they was able to accumulate real estate, and they had the property that was called heir property, it was passed down one generation to the next generation. With this, I'm saying to you people, I was nothing but a trash man, but my mentality was not of rubbish. I always loved knowledge, and because of it, that's why I can stand anywhere with anyone. And I say this not insulting me. And that's why I'm telling them so-called men to learn of men. Bring your books, because you're going to need them. And then go back and fact check me, what I'm saying. If I didn't go to any institutions of your indoctrination, I'm not putting that down. That's a good thing. And I know what you know. Shouldn't that tell you something? And remember this, and that's why other people are talking about investment, wealth, to be able to have generation wealth. And I say this to anyone else as I get off this phone. You cannot give. I want to be careful with this one. You cannot give what you must make them earn it to work for it. And we have many stories where the people are waiting for their parents or whatever to make transition where they can take their wealth. When they invest in savings, then it's an investment where they have, if you give everybody everything, I would go as far as to say the man 81 years of age. Sometimes they may not appreciate it, but when they know they have made an investment,
right,
and do that. That's older people. Them older people older than me, they had money. Anytime that they wasn't making the same amount of money that the white sharecroppers was making, they was able to do what they was able to do. It tell you something. Carol, you want to know one other thing? One of the other thing is this, is when the emancipation, it was set up not for all the people that came out of that imprisonment. It was set up for men. They needed men, people in the army. So that's why they watered it down. So my cousin running over and I just said this to you, Cal, and then listen to the audience. And I say this, I was thinking about it this morning. I've never been to London on a foggy day. I've never been to Switzerland to see the Winter Games played. I've never been to New Orleans on Carnival on Mardi Gras Day. And I've never been to London on a foggy day. Never been to India to hear the gondolier play. But I've been in the Delaware Valley. And in this Delaware Valley on this WURD, Love and Life, guess what they have done? I bear witness. It is some healers here. And I'm so happy on the last couple months that this show here, all y'all, Malcolm and all the rest of you gentlemen, where the people calls in and was able to vent, not vent, I'm going to change that word, not vent, and express themselves. Do you realize what y'all have done to be a part of that? You done that, Cal? The sensitivity you bring. And when that lady last night, she was talking about her medical condition, her weight and all like that. The lady before that, she was up there talking and saying, she was saying, when I met with the women, when I talked to the women down there at Tinley Temple, y'all have heard what they were saying about you and the Shogun and the people, a place where they can be heard. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ron. On that note, family, stay with us. We're going to take a commercial break, but we'll be right back.
Thinking about quitting tobacco? It's easier when you have help. The PA Tobacco Quit Line is ready with free coaching, medication, and more to help you quit for good. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. That's 1-800-QUIT-NOW to get started. Or visit smokefreephilly.org to learn more about judgment-free support and free medications that triple your chance of success. The PA Tobacco Quit Line is free, it's confidential, and it works.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just
all text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Starting March 3rd, tune into Afro Unity Beats, Sundays at 5 p.m., hosted by Brother Shamari, David Barnes, and Patrick Adzaru. Afro Unity Beats features contemporary Afro beats melded with traditional African, Caribbean, and Black-rooted musical forms from around the diaspora. Check out the weekly artists from different parts of the diaspora discussing the latest sounds from their part of the world and a history of their musical origins. That's Afro Unity Beats every Sunday, except the fourth Sunday at 5 p.m. only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Let's face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters, like having game night at home. Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the US get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit managerbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Welcome back, family. You're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Thank you all so much. I see your comments, and I was trying to make the best use of the time that we had with Mr. Jackson and the time that we had him here with us. So that was the only reason I didn't to share your comments, but I'm going to take a moment to share what you've been posting. Agbana, hi there. Agbana Hagans, great to have you join the conversation. He shares what he's talking about is 13th Amendment violations, Still Rights Act of 1866 violations. It's all called structural racism. It's illegal. You're talking about what Ron just shared with us just before the commercial break. Joey Dixon is joining us and he's checking in. Hi there. It's so great to have you with us always. And Eric shares, family, just remember that Mr. Jackson's Gun Violence Prevention Act will not continue to flourish under Donald Trump. The choice is ours. Thank you for that question. Thank you so much for the question that you asked, Mr. Jackson, Eric. And Alfred, I did see a comment that you made. You were sharing that Chicago's mayoral administration could learn something from this. Well, this initiative is from the White House itself. I shared in the comment section the article about this effort. It was announced by the White House this morning. So this is from the Biden administration. It has been put into effect by the Biden administration. In the White House briefing this morning, the announcement was made about this effort to reduce the number of guns sold without background checks. And it was shared that it's actually a component of the bipartisan Safer Communities Act. So they were drilling down this morning, sharing with us in a briefing from the White House that this is from where it came. So this is widespread. This is our government taking action. This is our government making a stride, to do better. That's what they're doing. They're making an effort to do better. Malcolm shares, the Great Depression happened because of bigger banks gobbling up the smaller ones at the time. we were talking, Ron was sharing that he was talking about the banking system. I don't know if you will recall, we had a visitor, Mr. Rothschild, who shared that he was not actually a member of the Rothschilds family, but he talked about the banking institutions and the history of our finances. I don't know if you all will recall, but he was sharing with us about the history, so much about the history of these financial institutions. Eric shares, first we had Build a Bear, and now we have Build a Gun. It's so sad. It is. It is so sad. That was why I was asking Mr. Jackson about ghost guns. And I'm grateful that he did give the explanation for any of our family members who are unaware. Ghost guns are these guns that are being manufactured by individuals, by people. You can buy the individual pieces and build your own gun. You can put your own gun together. And it has been of the biggest concern to me because it is happening more and more often. I'm going to go to our phone lines. One of our family members is calling to join the conversation. Hello there, and thank you so much for calling.
Well, peace and blessings, my love.
Peace and blessings, love light.
And I said that I'm going to, once a week, try to say to you, speak with you, and say thank you for the love, because that is the answer to everything that's happening out here. We just need to fall in love again with one another, because our issue is we have fell out of love with one another. So I love you. I love everything you do, and I thank you for the hugs that you send in the atmosphere, and I'm just sending more hugs back to you. Now, my grandbaby is also on the line. If she want to know if it's okay, if she can say something.
Yes, she can.
Peace and blessings, sisters.
Peace and blessings.
I'm Jera. I'm my grandfather's granddaughter, and I just got finished celebrating my 26th birthday on the 9th.
Happy belated.
And her niece's birthday is today. She's 9 years old.
Yeah, my niece is 9 years old, and I was just giving the blessings to God that I was able to celebrate that. But I'm continuing on my celebration this weekend with me and my mother and sister, that I can have a good time with them and to celebrate the month of April, because I've really, really, really been focusing on what is basically going to happen next when I turn a different age. But at the same time, I'm keeping focused on 26, because this is the greatest number that I could ever think of.
Right on.
I love that.
Yeah, and let me say happy birthday to Riley. She just turned 9, and we love you, Riley, and we love you, sis. Thank you for allowing my 26-year-old grand and my 9-year-old great grand. I'm going to say happy birthday to the two of them.
Well, sending celebratory love and hugs to them both, and always to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank y'all for calling, family. OMG. I love that. That just made me smile. It was a hug to my heart. I'm so glad that you all call. That makes my day. It really does. It really does. Family, just praising God from whom all blessings flow. I will ask that you pray for someone who does not yet know God. Pray for your loved ones. Pray for your enemies. Pray for all of those who are in need. I thank you as you continue to support Love and Life. I truly do. I do. Thank you to all of our guests this evening for sharing their time, energy, attention, information, space, spirit. And I thank you for doing the same, the absolute same. Special thanks to the entire Word family especially Niall and Nick for all that you do. Happy birthday once again to all of our love lights, especially Nisi Poo and Allie. That's right. And once again, condolences to OJ Simpson's family and loved ones. Just remember, family, we are all in this together. So be good to you, but please be good to those around you. You hear me? I love you so much, but God loves you even more than that. Please be careful as you go to and fro out here. Have a great rest of your night and a great weekend. And be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, family. Love you.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed.